Hey, what's up, everybody? Wade Watches here, coming at you with another fresh out of the movie theater review. Just got through watching Gladiator 2 in IMAX, and before I begin the review, I gotta give a shout out to the guy who was sitting behind me. That man was excited. He definitely thought that he was back in the Coliseum. Normally, I'm just gonna say this. I'm a bit more on the pessimistic side overall. If you haven't noticed already, if you've been following me for a while since I started this channel, you know I'm not the biggest fan of people. With this T-shirt here, so normally people like talking while the movie's going. That's something that normally irritates the shit out of me. But the dude behind me, he was having so much fun with this. He was fanboying out at points that I just couldn't be mad at him. Normally I'd be pissed at something like that, but he made the experience better. And to be fair, he wasn't the only one, because what he was feeling, I was feeling it too, man. This film was a rush. So on to the actual review. What a rush. What a pure adrenaline-packed, sword and sandals, epic spectacle. I'm just gonna get the obvious out of the way right now. Is it as good as the first film, Gladiator from 2000, which is definitely easily one of my all-time favorite films ever? No. But what I appreciate about what they did here, what Ridley Scott did here with this one, is that it really isn't trying to be. This isn't a film that's like, has that like nostalgia bait anchor that so many legacy sequels to classic films do, where they're just like copying and pasting, from the original, and at certain points they pause the movie to tell the audience, hey, do you remember this from the first movie? Do you remember this from the movie you love? None of that here. This movie definitely tries to stand on its own, tries to tell its own unique story, while obviously pulling from elements from the first film. But there was never a point in this where I felt like they were just pretty much ripping off what we'd already seen two decades before. Though I was 1 year old at the time, but you guys know what I mean. So yeah, it doesn't really feel like it's trying to replicate the first film. So I'm not going to hold the fact that I don't love it as much as the original Gladiator against it, because all in all, I had a hell of a time watching this. This was, like, out of all the movies that I've seen this year, and I've seen some really great movies this year, some movies that I loved. It's been a pretty good year for movies overall. This was one of the best theater experiences I've had all year, if not the best. Like next to Dune Part 2, which I also saw at this very IMAX theater. This is one of the best movie theater experiences I've had. So I really had a good time with Gladiator 2. That being said, of course there are some criticisms. There are some flaws. One thing I will say is that it is that classic case of trying to be bigger, better, bloodier, trying to step it up from the first film, so it's not to be exactly like that original film. And in some cases I felt like there were definitely cases of it having maybe one too many, like, characters, trying to follow one too many storylines that are kind of introduced and then gone to like never be seen again. Also, there were some bizarre pacing issues where people were having conversations, and then it would cut to a totally different setting. It would cut to a totally different character, like mid conversation, where I was like, wait, you could have lingered on that scene a bit longer. I wanted to hear the rest of that conversation. But other than that, I can't really think of much else that bothered me here, frankly. It's still pretty solid. Definitely not perfect because of those aforementioned issues. I did feel like at one point they were just introducing and setting up too much, and it almost felt like the movie knew that they couldn't like deliver on everything, so they just kind of dismissed certain things, certain storylines, and certain characters were never to be seen again. But other than that, I had a blast watching Gladiator 2. All the rumors are true. Paul Mescal is not doing a Russell Crowe impersonation. Once again, just like the film, he's doing his own thing. He's his own character. He's a really solid lead in this. The rumors are also true about Denzel. Every scene he's in, it's Denzel Washington. So every scene he's in, this is my movie now. This is my time to shine. Definitely steals every scene he's in. Definitely has a couple of moments. There's a moment with him, like kind of near like the climax, near the ending, where I was like, wow, damn. So that's true as well. I mean, it's Denzel Washington, so it's it's always going to be a Denzel Washington performance, if you know what I mean. So yeah, as you can tell, I really had a great time watching Gladiator 2. The film is not filmed for IMAX, so the aspect ratio doesn't fully expand in IMAX theaters, but that didn't bug me at all. I'd still say check it out in IMAX. And wrapping it up, I'm going to go ahead and give Gladiator 2 a 9 out of 10. Once again, the only thing kind of like holding it back were those, you know, setting up like maybe one too many characters, one too many plots, and not really delivering on them, kind of being a little bit overstuffed at times, though it's definitely not a full-blown case of sequelitis, because for the most part the plot was linear. Everything did come together in the end, but there were a couple of characters where I was like, wait, where are you going? Come back. I thought the movie wasn't done with you, but I guess it is. But yeah, again, other than that, it's a blast. It's a worthy sequel. I think this is definitely as good of a sequel to Gladiator that we're ever going to get. And like I said, it's a 9 out of 10. This has been another edition of Wave Watches, and I'll see you all with more movie goodness later on down the road. Peace.